Hello, everybody. How's it going? Alec and Stuff here, and welcome to Last Minute Impressions, a short new segment in which I give you some unscripted last minute impressions on games before I play them. And today's video is going to be all about Pokemon Legends Arceus, which launches in just a couple days. I mean, right now I'm recording this on the 26th on a Wednesday, and the game comes out Friday, so it's wild that we're at this point. Time is a wild concept and always never stops for anybody. Anyway, up until this point, I've been dodging leaks and spoilers for this game like crazy, as I'm sure some of you watching this video might have too. And I think it's worth noting that for this video, I have only seen what Nintendo has officially posted in trailers and gameplay sneak peeks. Nothing else. I know it's all out there and some people have gotten copies early, but I've seen none of that. Anyways, the last trailer for this game dropped just yesterday, and at the time of recording this, the reviews for this game have already made their way onto the internet as of this morning. And it's very clear to me that this game is being received incredibly well, at least critically. So that excites me in more ways than one, which we'll get into. Now, tying it back to this game's reveal nearly an entire year ago in February 2021, I have just loved the concept for this game since then. In that time, though, there have obviously been lots of small glimpses and noticeable improvements, and more importantly, discussion surrounding this game. And some of that discussion early on was understandably wary about the new direction that this game is going in, and I think that's totally fair. I mean, it's totally valid to feel cautiously optimistic about a game that breaks the mold for its foundation and for the games of its past as much as this game is for Pokemon. I totally get it. Some of the other discussion revolves around the game's visuals, and some of the biggest critiques at the time were in regards to that, which I personally never agreed with. I think the game has always looked great, but over the past year, there have been some seemingly huge improvements in this department. Wild. I mean, it's almost like games need to be finished and developed before they're done. Am I right? Anyways, in all seriousness, though, the visuals are incredible. I mean, they almost resemble a painting on a canvas, and in a lot of ways resemble the approach that Breath of the Wild and Skyward Sword, and even in some ways Okami have, for those of you that have played Okami, the way that those games took to art direction with their titles. And, you know, obviously, looking back on it, we all know how wonderfully those games have aged, right? Spoiler alert, it's wonderful. Those games look awesome even to this day. So I do still think, though, that even in the most recent trailers, some parts of Legends Arceus can leave a little bit to be desired, but in reality, I don't think this will affect my overall enjoyment of the game that much, if at all. And Nintendo, and to some extent Game Freak, have always been more about gameplay over graphics, and I believe in that mindset wholeheartedly. This game looks great visually, and so do the Pokemon. So, despite this game taking place in what is essentially an older Sinnoh region and not a new region, we are still being treated to some new Pokemon in this game. So, as far as what's been revealed officially, there are only 3, those being Wurdeer, Basculegion, and Kleavor. Now, I think as far as these 3 are concerned, they're pretty good as far as design goes. My personal favorite of the bunch is Wurdeer. I just love the look, and I think it fits the region really well. Plus, I think it's cool that its antlers kind of look like misshapen Meltan. I don't know if that was on purpose, maybe. I don't know if anyone's even pointed that out, but we'll see. Anyways, my runner-up after that is going to have to be Basculegion, simply because of its Pokédex entry that reads, "This evolution occurs when a Basculin is possessed by the souls of other Basculin from its school that could not withstand the harsh journey upstream." Yeesh. Basculegion fights together with these souls, which attack opponents as if with a will of their own. Oh, Game Freak. Never change. Lastly, though, that leaves Kleavor, which personally I'm not a huge fan of. I like the fact that it's linked to Scyther and everything, and, you know, Scyther is cool, but if we're talking about evolutions of Scyther that have a really cool design to boot, we got that back in 1999 as far as I'm concerned with Caesar, so yeah. Sorry, Kleavor. Aside from the newer Pokemon, though, regional variants also make a return, this time under the name Hisuian form Pokemon. Now, there's a few more of these than there are new Pokemon so far, and I think it might be worth noting that this batch has some of my favorite regional forms to date. I mean, You've got Hisuian Growlithe, which I love, you probably love, the whole internet loves. Such a good boy. You've also got Hisuian Voltorb, which I personally find this Pokemon really funny because it also takes the form of a Pokeball even like all these years prior. I mean, I think that's hilarious. You've also got Hisuian Zorua and Zoroark, which I think are awesome. These two kind of remind me of Hisuian Vulpix and Ninetales in a few ways. I mean, they take a evolution line that's already super beloved by the community and just make them even cooler. So Zorua and Zoroark are just awesome. I love them. And then, lastly, there's Hisuian Braviary, which I personally feel like is the sleeper hit of the bunch. Definitely not the one that stands out the most for now, but I think as time goes on, history will be kind to Hisuian Braviary, and people will come to realize that this thing has a really cool design. So I think Hisuian Braviary doesn't stand out quite as much as the rest of them, but still really, really cool. All this to say, though, that the new Pokemon designs look really good, and there are a few more of them than I was expecting, being that this is essentially just the Sinnoh region, right? Though, there's more to new Pokemon games than just the Pokemon. There's also the gameplay that goes along with them, which, speaking of that, this game is obviously a huge deviation from classic Pokemon. Breaks the mold, like I said earlier, and totally reshapes the foundation that this series was built on. I mean, obviously, with all that in mind, this may turn some longtime fans off immediately. However, I am more excited than anything else, and I think that even if you end up not liking this game, this is still a great thing because it opens the door for Game Freak to try more new and fresh takes on Pokemon like this in the future. So, super, super jazzed about all that. One thing I do love about this game that stands out immediately from the trailers and gameplay sneak peeks that we've gotten over the past year is the wild encounters. Oh my gosh. I love the wild encounters, and the fact that Pokemon are visible in the overworld in this game was such a sorely missed thing ever since, Pokemon Let's... It seems like... Hold on. Before I even get too far ahead of myself. This concept alone, based on what we've seen in gameplay so far, it's like the best of both worlds, from Pokemon Let's Go's overworlds and the wild area mechanics from Sword and Shield. I mean, say what you will about Pokemon Let's Go, I personally think that the overworlds in those games were just awesome. And I love the fact that you can see shinies in the overworld and things like that, which makes me wonder if shinies are even going to be making a return in this game. Don't know, but if they do, I would love to be able to see them in the overworld like we did in Let's Go. I thought that was so cool. And, taking inspiration from Let's Go in the wild area and Sword and Shield, it definitely seems like this approach is sort of an evolution of that. So I said this at the time when Pokemon Sword and Shield were, newer games, that the wild area, for some people, felt like it left a little bit more to be desired, which I totally get. But to me, it always struck me as Game Freak sort of playing with the idea, and they would, moving forward, take what worked and what didn't with the wild area and then sort of iterate on it. And this new approach to organic encounters in Pokemon Legends definitely seems like an evolution of the wild area, and to some extent the Let's Go overworlds as well. So anyways, to tie that up with a little bow, super excited, love the wild encounters. And speaking of the encounters and stuff like that, I love the dynamic new approach to battles in this game. I feel that it definitely makes the game, its world, the characters, and everything just feel far more immersive than the random turn-based encounters of old. Tying it back to the visuals as well again really quick too, the animations in these battles look so freaking good. Oh my gosh, I just can't wait. Like, you ever get that feeling with a Pokemon game, or any game really, where you just want to fight something because of, like, you just want to see all the cool animations and stuff that this game has to hold. So I definitely get that feeling with Pokemon Legends. Also, like, the fact that it looks so inspired by Okami and some of the really awesome dynamic art styles from other games that I've loved in the past. I mean, there is just so much to say about the gameplay when it comes to battles and wild encounters about this game. I'm just so excited. Anyways, moving beyond the wild area and encounters and things like that, the game also brings back the customization from Sword and Shield and some of the other games from the past. I think the customization in this game looks cool. I like that there seems to be more options this time around than Sword and Shield had at the very least, and I think trainer customization actually goes a long way for helping myself, and many others for that matter, feel that much more immersed into these games. And moving forward, I hope this is something that Pokemon continues to support and include in their games, because I seriously think it goes a long way. And, speaking of customization, I really hope at the very least there's an option for blue hair in this game, because that is something that is sorely missing from not only past Pokemon games, but also other spin-off games like Pokemon Unite and literally any Pokemon game that has customization tools in it. Blue hair is just not there for some reason. I don't know why. So if there's a way that I could just will it into existence, I mean, obviously the game's already out there in the wild anyway, but I just really hope that when I get my hands on it, I'm able to customize my trainer and put myself some blue hair. That'd be really cool. Anyways, moving right along, this game also includes a missions mechanic, which, from the looks of it, it's basically like a side quest sort of scenario where you go up to a random trainer in the town, they have you do something. I mean, it could be an errand, it could be, any number of things. We haven't really seen too much of it as far as official trailers go, and the missions themselves, they don't inherently excite me, since many open world games in the past that I've played make the mistake of packing in way too many of these that just end up making these feel more like chores than an individual, unique sort of side quest. But we'll have to see how this game handles them, and I'll save my judgment until then. Let's just do that. All that said, I personally can't wait to try squaring up with some of the aggressive Pokemon that you see in the wild. I don't know why, I find that idea so funny that a small child can go out into the fields throwing hands with wild Tangrowths or whatever the heck else you can see in the overworld. I don't know. I can't wait. Even if it makes me black out and head back to a Pokemon Center or whatever, I just want to try that at least once. Anyways, so there you have it. Those are my last-minute impressions on Pokemon Legends Arceus before we all start playing this game 24/7 the next few months, or at least until Kirby releases in March. So, overall, I think Legends Arceus looks really, really good. There's a lot of stuff to be excited about this game, and, there are a few things that I will concede and say that it's okay to be cautiously optimistic about, but overall, I think this is just nothing but a great stride forward and a great way to progress the Pokemon series forward as a whole. And like I said earlier, even if it's something that you end up not liking, I think this is still an overall great thing, because I personally like seeing Game Freak try new and creative things with the Pokemon franchise. I mean, obviously over the past 25, this year 26 years, since Pokemon has been a thing, we've all gotten so used to, the idea that, oh, I'm this kid from a really small town, and I need to make my way through the Pokemon League, gather all 8 badges, and, you know the story. Gotta catch them all that. And I like that the approach that Pokemon Legends Arceus is taking here, and it's definitely a lot more organic and rooted in, or sorry, not rooted, grounded, and just feels more immersive. I don't know. I've said a lot of this stuff to death already, so I'll spare you me repeating myself, but I think overall this game looks really, really good, and it's wild that I get to say that I'll be playing it in 48 hours or less from now. So anyways, that about wraps up this video, but before I go, I wanted to pass the question over to you guys. What do you think about Pokemon Legends Arceus? Does the game's huge deviation from conventional Pokemon make you feel hesitant, or does it excite you even more? Feel free to leave your thoughts down in the comments below, as I'd love to discuss with you guys. So, with all of that said, and without further ado, there's only one thing left to say before we end this video, and that is, of course, as always, I'm alecandstuff. Do your best out there, I'm rooting for you, and I'll see you all again in the next video. Bye!